You ever find yourself recovering, restoring, resuscitating one of your own projects you built and sold? Well, I'm in that situation. Well, 15 years ago, we'll say maybe, I built this thing and then sold it on, I believe, Craigslist or something like that. And then sometime back here recently, it shows back up on Marketplace. Buddy of mine found it, sent it to me and said, hey, is this yours? I'm like, yep. One of my kids picked it up, and we're going to bring it back to life again. Here's a picture of it when I first finished it 15-ish years ago. So it's definitely this, obviously the same bike. It is all scratch built. This is just black pipe that I bent into various forms and welded it together. Just once again, just this pipe here and steel here, flanges I cut out for the triple tree. And this was my first attempt at building a gas tank from just a flat piece of tin, pounding it out and bending it around. And I did build a little English wheel to create some a little more contours to it. Yeah. Well, and that's just, it's a go-kart or mini bike or tractor, lawn tire and wheel and various sprockets. Little 18-inch bicycle wheel. And then painted it all up, built the handlebars. Little, looks like a Tecumseh motor. But as you can see, it's seen better days. Chain's missing, carburetor's missing. This is, exhaust is not actually attached anymore. But yeah, it's pretty much all there. This is my first, my first serious aluminum TIG weld. I just recently had gotten that welder there. This is like my first attempt at actually using it to weld up this cover here. So a lot of firsts in this build. So it's kind of cool to see it back. Biggest problem is the tank is completely rusty inside. We take it off and give it a little bit of a shake. There's something going on. If I remember right, I think I couldn't seal it or didn't get it sealed right, so I put tank sealer in there, and maybe that's what's loose in there. But to get that apart, I think that'll be the first thing to work on, to get that tank apart. Try to get it cleaned out, figure out what's going on with it. Maybe even take the sandblaster to it and clean it off. But yeah, we'll get that, get a cover back on it, get a chain on it, and let's get it back to its running and riding state. And then we'll try to make it look like that again. We are going to restore this back to when I originally built it. So restoring my own project. So let's get after it. So apparently I was sleeping with the Bondo manufacturer or something, because I just ground up about a ½ inch of Bondo off this thing. I don't remember putting that on there, but apparently I did. But opening this up, I recall what happened here. This is the top for a gas tank, for a small engine of some sort, and I just cut it out and then welded it into this thing, so I could use a normal gas cap. Makes sense, huh? But anyways, we're going to cut this off here, because the entire thing is filled with this. Apparently it must have started leaking and somebody got pissed off and just dumped about 4 gallons of epoxy inside of it to seal it up. So let me lop this open here and get it opened up inside. Let's give a better chance to clean out the inside and sandblast it clean, and fix the tank. Now that I can actually weld better than I did 15 years ago, maybe I can weld this up so it doesn't leak without having to fill it full of a tank sealer. Holy shit, did I do that? I don't think so. I'm not even sure what the hell that is. Doesn't look very tank sealy like, but so yeah, it's pretty icky down there. So I'm gonna take this thing and we'll sandblast the inside of it out really well. Probably sandblast the outside of it and get it cleaned up, and then try to undo all the what the hell. Alright, so undo all the whatever's been going on when I built it and whoever else took over, and try to get it back to a kind of a little more functional state, usable state. Okay. Yeah, just having flashbacks here from this previous build. Cool, so let's get this thing cleaned up, get it sealed up. All right, got the old making a gasket template trick with the spray paint. Need to make an exhaust manifold gasket, so a little bit of paint. Take your gasket material, press it against there firmly, smash it all the way around, pull it off, and there you go. So let's cut that out. We got an exhaust manifold gasket. All right, a little off-camera work. You guys didn't need to see me tack that tank back together again because it's just welding. Put a coat of primer on it and then filled it full of water just to make sure that no major leaks. I didn't see anything. I will probably put a actual tank sealer back into it just because I'm not that good of a welder, so and I don't know that I trust myself all the way. So I'll put a little bit of a sealer or some sort of a tank sealer inside of it before I finish it up. And also off camera, I did both of the exhausts. I couldn't figure out why this exhaust was just kind of hanging here and not really attached very well to the motor, but apparently I forgot how much of a bear this was to get back attached. So I got a couple button head Allen, quarter 20 Allen bolts, and got the exhaust reattached to the motor again. So I guess next, let's get up. I'm gonna climb up in the pile of motor crap up there and see if I can find a carburetor for this thing. I know I got something up there, and see if I can get something cleaned up and put on there. So after that, let's hook the fuel line up and get the throttle hooked back up again. I really should check and see if it actually has spark. So it looks like most of the bolts are not in place holding the cover on, so maybe that's been off for a reason, I'm assuming. I don't even remember if this is a points or non-points engine, but let's get it apart, see what the hell's going on. All right, let's check for spark. Spin it over here slowly. It should have spark. It's not a point motor, so. Yeah, it's got spark. Kind of weak, but I'll probably check the gap, air gap on the. That's good. Looks all right. And if you get weak spark on one of these type of motors, it's either bad plug wire or it could be a faulty coil, but you gotta check that air gap right there. It looks a little tight. It looks really tight. We'll readjust that before we put it back together again. So, all right, we'll readjust the air gap. It's just a matter of just putting a feeler gauge between the magnet on the flywheel and the actual coil. And there's these two screws right here. You loosen these up here, and this, you can adjust this. So let's set that, and then we'll move on. All right, recoil back on. Kill switch hooked back up. Head bolts torqued, that's close enough, foot-pounds. So let's move on to, let's find a carburetor for it. So at that point, we can make it run. Gotta figure out to drain the oil out of this thing too, because I didn't think about that when I built this thing. Here's one in the front. Whew, okay, no big deal. So let's get the oil out of it or whatever is in that crankcase at this point. You can see the filler thingy is broken off, so who knows how long it's been filling up with crap. So, all right, carburetor and then oil change. Look what I found up in the rafters. Looks like the same basic motor. So good thing is, yeah, we got a carburetor. We even got a primer bulb to put that in there. Woo. So let's get this thing torn apart. I'm not sure what the hell this thing came out of, where it came from. But anyways, let's take it apart. Let's get the carb off of it. We'll take it apart, clean it up really good. The hardware, that's good. Bolts and stuff I'm missing on this one, on the mini bike, so We'll get that off of there. We'll get the primer bulb off of it. Get that on the bike. I don't know if it really needs it, but we're going to get it anyways. Get the stuff bolted on there. Stubborn bolt. Remember this guy? Ooh. I'll get a little bit of a challenge. So turn. The direction of the bolt is you want the bolt to turn, and then strike it, and boom, off they come. Great little tool. All right, got ourselves a nice little bounty of parts off of that thing. Even an oil filler thing. There's the I'll put something in there to see if I can soften this up, get that dent out of it. But anyways, let's get the carb apart, get that cleaned up. Maybe I'll show you taking that apart. I don't know. It's just a carb, so. But I'll take it apart and see how nasty it is inside. Get it soaking, get it cleaned.
Well, we've done this 1,000 times, and we'll probably do it 1,000 more times, but here's tearing down a carburetor. If you don't have any kind of carb cleaner, get something. Just hose it off with something, doesn't do diddly shit. You want to soak it. Doesn't matter, grab something. Even if you got the aerosol carb cleaner, spray it into a little container and set your parts in there and let them soak. So that's what we're going to do here. Yeah, it's crusty, very crusty. This one's been down for a while. Yucky. That's not too bad. A little crusty in there. Huh. I may have to soak this one first. I can't get the pin out. It's all crusted in there. So we're just gonna throw the whole thing in the solvent bath and let it soak. Little pro tip: piece of wire on the carburetor before you put it in the can. Not digging around fishing for it then. Let that soak for a while. Come back and see if we can get the rest of it apart. Looks like 35 chain. Let's see if we got any. I have to go get some. 40, 40. 35 there. A little piece of it. All of it. Alright. All kinds of chain. Alright, we'll get that length figured out. Get that on there. Sweet. I love saving money. Even though I spent the money on it already. But never mind. Let's get it cut down to length and put it on there. I'm sure I'm going to regret this later on, but I don't have a master link for this size chain, so I'm just going to pound the link back in it again, which will is always fun to do, and also may bite me in the butt when I need to take it back off again. So let's go ahead and pound this back together again, just because I don't like driving to the store. Woohoo! Chains on it, tightened up. So now we'll move back over to, remember why I did this now. This little bendy whoopy thing here is because the chain was actually rubbing on the frame when I built this the first time. I don't think it's on this side, is it? Nope. That's what happened. Eh, funny. Okay. Flashbacks. Building flashbacks. Alright, let's get the carb out of that cleaner and finish getting that back together again, and throw some oil in this thing and gas, and we should be able to start it. Woo! Alright, got some soaking done. See if the pin's loose now. Make sure when you're trying to get these pins loose, you don't pound on these when they're stuck, because you end up breaking off these little ears, which leaves you, well, just wrecks the carburetor at that point. So come in at kind of a little angle here. Need a little more plier. Gasket's a little sketch. I don't have a kit for it, so removing it carefully. Boom. All right, let's a little crusty in there, but let's blow it out and see what we got.
Yeah, carburetor's back on it, and as you can see, I actually changed to a different carburetor I found that actually has mixture screws, both idle and main jet. So we're gonna hook up the throttle. I'm just not, I don't know, this is what I'm going with. I reconfigured this little bracket. I don't remember how I did it originally. So I put a little stud here, and we'll get a little, I use the electrical connector and the hoop style and soldered onto the cable here to grab a hold of this, and then I'll just build a little bracket off of here for a return spring. I always heavy up on the return springs because I've had a few of these get away from me. So let's get that clamped into place. Yeah, as you'll see, it's just, yeah, it's simply just a electrical connection ring that just crimping on the cable, soldered on, and boom, done. Simple. And then we'll take it from there. It's like after that, just gas fuel line and put the chain cover back on, and we should be able to fire this thing up. Take a reverse bean. Not sure how happy I'm about it, but you know, it works. So let's put some oil in it and a gas line. That's it. It's ready to roll. All right, there you go. Fuel lines on it, carbs on it, return springs, throttle cable. So we're ready for a test drive. Oil's in it. So let's get it done off the stand. We put a little air in the tires and low, and let's see if this thing will run. All right, let's get this thing started. All right, it's not gonna run. As you might notice, we got a puddle of oil on the ground. The carburetor is leaking like a sieve, and the recoil is only, doesn't seem like it's long enough. And the spark is very weak. So it's not gonna start yet. So let's get it back up on the bench. I do have a carb kit ordered for it. I got some more recoil line picked up, and then let's see if figure out where this oil leak is coming from, and then we'll try to start this thing. Ha! Found the oil leak. Turns out I'm an idiot. Tighten the drain plug up, moron. Maybe it won't leak oil. All right, let me fix that real quick. So after a careful and meticulous rebuild of this carburetor, I successfully clicked on a button on Amazon, just bought a brand new one. This one's got, it's actually pouring fuel out of the carburetor body, so it's got a crack in it. So it's garbage. Let's throw a new one on there. Probably should have done it to begin with. All right, well, I did start it off of camera, and then realized it started. I thought, oh, I'll grab the camera, and I grabbed the camera, and then shit got awkward. Here's what happened. So let's try this again, a little more controlled. I did actually fix the throttle, and I put some means of a kill switch on anyway to shut the thing off. And so let's get the camera set and try this again in a little less awkward of a situation. The problem is this little return spring here is not pulling tight enough on the throttle to pull it all the way back against the idle stop, so I have to fix that. But it sounded good, so let me get that adjusted, and then let's take it for a spin. There you go, resurrecting my own project from 16 years ago. Runs good. Not the most comfortable thing I've ridden, which may be why I sold it to begin with, or maybe I just don't remember it from 16 years ago. But we'll call that done. We'll probably next, maybe one day, get it cleaned up and repainted and get it back to the way it was when I originally built it. And it's still a little rough around the edges, but mechanically it's sound. So we'll call it done. Thanks for watching. See you soon.